Welcome everyone to the Wednesday, February 5th Slate preview show here on the Fantasy Cruncher YouTube channel. CJ Kaltenbach with you here. We're going to try something a little different today. We're going to try to make this a little shorter. On these big slates, these videos have ran a little bit longer than that 25 minutes I'm trying to shoot for. So let's try this. Let me know how you like the format in the comments section. Please subscribe, really does help us out a ton if you go ahead and just do that. It takes 2 seconds of your time. Greatly do appreciate it. If you want to win a free week of Fantasy Cruncher Pro, leave in the comments section the player 3,500 or below on DraftKings that you think will score the most fantasy points today, and you'll be entered in a drawing to win a free week of Fantasy Cruncher Pro. We'll announce that winner on Monday. So let's do it. I'm going to do this a little differently. I'm going to kind of focus in on the key situations that you need to focus on and the big games. So we're not going to cover every single team. Of course, fantasycruncher.com has all the other content you need, and it's totally free. So check that out. Link to Fantasy Cruncher, of course, in the description. Let's focus on Boston first. So 208 total. They're at home. Kemba Walker out. Marcus Smart out. Daniel Tice out. That means Cantor could play a ton of minutes here. He's only 4,200. The big issue here is that he's coming off a minutes limit in that first game. So the real question is, can he play 24 minutes today? Are they going to let him play 24 minutes? They certainly need him to. The Magic are a big team, but I'm not sure they're going to let him. So this is something to keep an eye on. If without news, I'll probably just go ahead and play Cantor. The upside's too high, even in 23 to 24 minutes. But if I get a report, let's say, that says 20 minutes, that definitely would change my tune here a little bit. Prices on the other Celtics are a little bit more in the reasonable range. Jaylen Brown, 7,300, probably my favorite of the group. Don't mind Hayward at 76 or Tatum at 79, but they're not all-time favorite plays. Brad Wanamaker, didn't start, made all of his shots and got 4 steals to get to value. The price is now up. I would just completely stay away from there. Javonte Green didn't play well in his first start. We'll see if he gets another one. I would expect they just start Brad here, but we'll find out. They played some Tremont Waters. Last time I didn't think they would, but he's a low-usage guy. So, again, you're really just looking at Jalen, Hayward, Tatum, and Cantor if we get news that he can play up to 24 on this slate. Obviously, of course, the usage on Brown, Hayward, and Tatum goes way up without Kemba and Smart. Okay, the next situation I want to talk about is that Golden State-Brooklyn game. It's a 223 total. D'Angelo Russell obviously expected to play here. This is a very big revenge game. I would expect D'Angelo Russell's usage to be about as high as it can get, which I would suspect will border around 40%. 8,400 for him against Brooklyn, who's really bad against guards, especially when Kyrie's out. I think this is a play that I'm going to strongly consider for the lock category. It feels weird, definitely, with all the other options available to us on the slate. But when Russell's played, he's been really good. 36 minutes, 37 minutes. This injury report stuff, I just kind of feel like it's just been we suck, as the Warriors are trying to tank and they're just managing them. There's no reason to run him out there for a bazillion minutes every single game. So I don't think he'll be on a minutes limit here. I think he'll play his normal minutes, especially against Brooklyn here. So there's definitely risk there, but the ceiling on him is just, he's a 1.3, 1.4 fantasy point per minute guy. So I do like Russell a bit here. Price on Draymond's finally up to where it should be. Burks and Glenn Robinson III's prices are up, expecting Russell to miss, but he's going to play. So I really wouldn't go there. This is a nice game, actually. After yesterday where we had a ton of high totals, we really just got the one today. So that definitely is, this 223 total is a little bit better considering the low totals that we really just have on this slate. 208, 218, 216, 220, 215. So we definitely do have a bunch of just low totals on the board today. Let's see what else we got here that I want to talk about. Jared Allen, 6,300, not the worst idea. Chris at 5,300. I think that's okay. He's going to play 26, 27 minutes. I mean, eventually he's going to have to worry about the 45-day limit, but we're not there yet. Except it's not 45 days for him. I have to check what that is, because when you sign a two-way in the middle of the season, it's not the full 45 days on the roster. I think you get it prorated, so he signed about halfway through, so I bet it's closer to 22, 23 days with the team, but we'll have to see how that goes. Joe Harris, Garrett Temple, I don't think we're going to need those type of cheap value plays today. Brooklyn, Dinwiddie, Karis LeVert's price is up. I could see a case if you wanted to play him. I just don't think the 36% usage is a real number. That's just one of his better games. I'm not going to overreact to that usage rate without Kyrie. Dinwiddie was bad. I think he's a guy that can be in the 20s for sure, but 36 just feels high. The price is up. I think people are going to go back here, especially against the Warriors. I'm leaning towards a fade. Just the 7 free throws. It feels all very. I think you can put up 30 in this spot, but 30 isn't really going to win you a tournament. So this is definitely, I got to see what the ownership is. If he's going to be projected low in terms of ownership, then I definitely would have interest in him, especially with that point guard, small forward eligibility. I just suspect coming off that game, people are going to run right back to him. Okay, let's move on to the beginning of the end, which is really just discussing this 3-team trade that happened last night, or 4-team trade, and 2 of these teams are in this game. It's Atlanta and Minnesota. So I'm going to do these teams one by one, just because I need to figure out who the hell is on each team. Chandler Parsons cut. Bembry is out. Travion Graham is available. Bruno Fernando, I believe, is ruled out. Let me just double check that. Because I have Atlanta at 9 bodies, but let me just check this real quick. Because this is obviously some of the when you have teams that have 8 guys, it's one of the most important things you have to know. Let's scroll through the injury news. Bruno Fernando. I just looked at this like 5 minutes ago too. That's why I'm really frustrated that I can't remember. Bruno Fernando's questionable. Cam Reddish is out. Hunter is questionable. Kevin Huerter is probable. So maybe there are more guys here than I thought. It's 13, but we have a bunch of questionables. Hunter's questionable. Fernando's questionable. So if those guys sit, then we're kind of back to a pretty small rotation here. Oh, Len's still out. And Jabari is still out. So, again, right, if Hunter and Bruno play, we're looking at 11 bodies. And if they sit, we're looking at 9 with, really, to be honest, Vince Carter counting it at best as a half body. And Charlie Brown hasn't played, like, any minutes since ever. So he really doesn't count towards the rotation. So if those guys sit, you're looking at a 7.5-man rotation. So we definitely have to see if they can play or not. I suspect that they had more bodies. Oh, this is the other thing too. Good reminder here. The NBA requires you to have 9 players active. NBA active player rule. I believe it's 9. Here. And at least 8 players must suit up for every game. So be careful here, right? So if these guys all sit, one of them, let's just say Charlie Brown's not with the team now. I'm pretty sure he is, but if he wasn't, let's just say, right, they might have to activate an injured player just to make the minimum limit. So be careful. There's definitely a chance that like Hunter and Bruno Fernando are available, but not expected to play. So be careful there. But regardless here, I don't really love anyone other than Trae Young. I think the price is too low on him, just given what his usage rate's going to be. I mean, 42% usage rate against Boston. I mean, that's just ridiculous. So that's my favorite stud of the night. The rest of these guys, Kevin Huerter, 5,900, I think you would have to play if Hunter and Bruno just sit because there's just no one else to play the minutes. We talked about this last time, and he played 40 minutes, took 21 shots. Kind of have to think that's the same if Reddish and Hunter miss again. In terms of the center position, against Minnesota, you're really going to need a body. And we've seen it against Philly that Damian Jones has played big minutes when they need a body. Yeah, obviously against Boston, you can get away with playing John Collins. I think Damian Jones, 3,800 against Minnesota and Towns is a strong value play because I think people are just going to under-project the minutes here. I would project him in the 24 to 25 minute range if Bruno sits. So this is definitely a value play I think you can definitely consider. In really tournaments of any size, I do think that's a really strong play if Bruno sits. Again, this is the 240 total, and it's a short rotation. And there's literally no other bigs on the team other than John Collins and Damian Jones. Like, there's not a one. So, and that deal's not going to get finalized, that four-way mega trade, because Houston can add on to it by the deadline. So that trade's going to be in limbo for 24 hours or so. John Collins, 8,600. I get it. I firmly get it. He's going to play monster minutes. I probably should just get over my fear of him, but he just doesn't really break slates. So, like he did once against the Clippers. I mean, I'm a little worried what his real ceiling is here, but again, given how short this team is, he's definitely a strong good play for me. Okay, Minnesota. Now this team's in even worse shape. So, Napier traded. Covington traded. Turner not available. Alan Crabb just got promoted to questionable. Vonleh not available. Layman is still out. Jordan Bell traded. Diop traded. Is that it? I think that's everyone. Okay, so that leaves us 10 bodies. Oh, boy. I mean, first of all, obviously, Towns is going to get all the usage in the world. Who the hell's playing point guard? I guess we're going back to the Jarrett Culver plays point guard thing. Didn't really think about that with the trade. There really isn't a de facto point guard on this team now. Wonder if I'm missing something. Did they trade for a point guard? I don't think so. Let me just see what the final version of that deal was. So it's Wolves get Beasley, Guancho, Turner, and Vanderbilt, and they traded away Napier. So they don't have a point guard on this roster. That's a true one. I mean, I guess you can call Jordan McLaughlin a point guard. I would very much hesitate at calling him that, but he probably starts, I guess. I mean, Culver right now is just playing terrible. So I guess Jordan McLaughlin, 3,300 is a solid value play. He's probably going to have to play. Okogie's probably going to have to play too, but he can't really run point. So I guess we're looking at Jordan McLaughlin playing 28 minutes at point guard? 26 minutes at point guard? I mean, I guess they could just roll Culver out there for all the minutes at point guard, but boy, they just haven't wanted to do it, and he's been bad. See what the starting lineup is here. I think Jordan McLaughlin's a really interesting pivot off of Jarrett Culver here. I think he's been playing better, and this trade does free up minutes for him to get. You know, I think it's a prime spot for him to start getting more minutes. I mean, you know, Shabazz got traded, and this is funny because it was just, you know, you see the blurb like McLaughlin's a really interesting sleeper if they trade Napier, and Napier's gone. So I'm looking at Jordan McLaughlin as a value play. I'm looking at Towns and Wiggins should all have pretty high usage at this point. A lot of their usage just got shipped out. You know, Keelan Martin and those other guys, I just don't trust. I actually trust Jordan McLaughlin, which just sounds crazy to me, but he just does things, and I think there's usage available for him. So he's a guy I'm going to have a lot of interest in, at least right now, looking through this team. But again, right, this is a 239 total, and we're looking at a team that's going to have 10, maybe 9 bodies available, and that's if Jalen Noel is with the team, which I haven't confirmed yet, to be honest. I don't know if he's with the team right now. I can take a quick Google search, but I don't think I'm going to find out until I ask a beat reporter. Looks like he's with the team, but I haven't confirmed it. Jordan McLaughlin is on a two-way, but they can convert that two-way. His days aren't over, so they could definitely convert him in the long run. But if he's active, they're gonna run him out there, I think. So I really like Jordan McLaughlin the most here. I think that's definitely the play I like in the cheapy range. But I guess I could be talked on to someone else as I kind of go through this process. But this is why I wanted to focus in on these teams today, because we got one more of these teams to cover. Because, especially with Atlanta and Minnesota, it's a 240 total with a lot of guys being under 4K, right? So you can just stars and scrubs this really quickly if you can find the right guys. So this is where I think this slate's going. So I just wanted to point that out. Before I get to Denver, just did quickly want to point out in Dallas, Memphis, Kristaps Porzingis 8,300. That's not going to stop me in a pace-up total like that. He's been playing 36 minutes with about 30% usage. So I'm not going to stop playing him right now. I know he shot the ball from three a little bit better than you would expect, but in this pace-up game, I think 30 and 10 is perfectly reasonable. So I just wanted to point that out, that I'm not going to stop from Kristaps even at this elevated price point. I don't see anything else that I have any real interest in. We got to see the injury status on Seth Curry and J.J. Barea. If they both sit the long right, 5,200 becomes interesting, but that's just not really the sexiest of the plays today. All right, let's look at Denver. They're on a back-to-back in Utah. Jeremy Grant is not expected to play. Neither is Michael Porter Jr. Neither is Paul Millsap. Neither is Mason Plumlee. And they just traded Malik Beasley, Juancho, Vanderbilt. So by my math, that leaves 9, and that includes Bobo, who I don't think they're going to play this year. I guess let me check Bobo, but Bobo, I can't imagine they're going to call him up. They already have enough centers. So I honestly have no idea who this other guy even is for Denver. I have to be honest. Denver's so deep. I have never even looked at who's under contract for their two ways. I know Bobo is one, but I don't know who the other is. So let's go to the Denver Nuggets. And it is PJ. No, it's the Bulls. It says Nuggets. It's PJ Dozier. Is that the only two-way they have? Bobo's on a two-way. Right? Sorry, this is just really important because we have to figure out who the hell is... No, Bobo's on a two-way. All NBA teams. Let me just search by Nuggets. I guess they're only listing here PJ Dozier, but I'm pretty sure that Bobo is. So this guy's not even on the active roster. So, although I guess he just played. Oh, Latiko Kankar. Someone want to tell me what contract he's on? Signed a rookie contract. So he's on the roster, I guess. Okay. Good to know, I guess. So, I mean, this is a back-to-back. We're looking at 9, maybe 8 players on the roster. Reminder, you have to have 8 players active at all times. So, boy, this is a total disaster. trying to look at the big man rotation here. There really isn't one. I guess Will Barton starts at the 4. I guess. That's a really big question mark. It could be Vlatko Konkar. I have to be honest. I need to look at who this guy is. So he was drafted in 2017. He's 6'8". I guess he could start at power forward, huh? Played most of the year at the Erie Bayhawks. I have to be honest. I don't know who this guy is, but he might start. I mean, Gary Harris is just a low usage guy. Torrey Craig, low usage guy. Monty Morris is a guard. That's the one place they're actually kind of strong right now. Where's Malik Beasley? Did I delete him by mistake, or is he hurt still? Oh, he got traded. Jeez, they traded everybody. Okay. So, the guard rotation is Jamal, Monty, Gary Harris, Torrey Craig, PJ Dozier, Will Barton. That's probably all that. God, Konkar could play a ton of minutes. I mean, Nikola Jokic literally has no backup. I'm assuming Bol isn't active. So, it could be just monster minutes for everyone here. This is definitely one of those situations. This is one of those games late towards lock. You're really going to have to pay attention to Twitter and really try to figure out who's going to play. I guess I'm going to give Jokic 40 minutes. It's on a back-to-back. That just feels insane, but I don't know what else to do. Like, give all the starters 40 minutes and then piecemeal together a bench with Craig and Dozier. But I can't even tell you who the fifth starter is going to be. It might be Konkar. So, if Konkar starts, I probably YOLO play him just because of where we're at. We're at 8, maybe 9 bodies on this team. And I think that's probably generous. I don't think I ruled anyone out that was truly questionable. Grant's basically doubtful. I believe Michael Porter Jr. is doubtful. I mean, if Michael Porter Jr. plays, that does solve a lot of this issue. But I believe he's not expected to play. And they're not going to rush him back just to try to play him in this game. So, I mean, we're looking at a team that's got no bigs. And that means for sure that they're all going to have to play. So, again, this is why I wanted to kind of focus in on some of these important teams today with all these injuries and all these trades, you know, especially trading half the roster. You're going to leave yourself with 3 teams with eight guys, and those are prime spots to take. You fill in those value plays, you play the studs you want, and you can kind of be done. So this is why I'm spending so much time on it. I'll probably spend more time on it this afternoon on my stream because I just need to kind of talk it out and figure out who's going to play. And that's definitely going to be super important. I'm trying to see if there's anything on Michael Porter Jr., but everything's talking about trading him, which they're not going to do. So, I think this is definitely a situation where I am going to assume Michael Porter Jr. is out, but if he plays, he's just the best play because he might have to play 40 minutes. So, maybe if you can leave a slot open for Michael Porter Jr. on DraftKings, that might be a way to go. 5,400. I'm trying to figure out who in the late games is 5,400 you could pivot off to. You would know by the start of the Memphis-Dallas game, most likely, if he's going to play. So, 5,400 pivots would be Tim Hardaway Jr. That's not a bad pivot at the small forward slot. Bogdanovic against Denver. That's not the worst pivot in the world if you had to do that. Especially for getting the potential upside of Michael Porter Jr. at low ownership and playing a ton of minutes. That definitely would be a risk I'd be willing to take. I don't see any other power forwards that I would feel great about playing. I guess Brandon Clark wouldn't be bad if I made sure I had all my teams had 500 left over to upgrade. But that's why Michael Porter Jr., if he plays, will be low owned because we won't know till late. And he'd be one of the best players on the slate. I mean, the guy's just a really good player. If he had to play 30 minutes, I mean, he will be on the winning team at that point. So, definitely an eye worth keeping out on. So, All right, let me know what you guys thought of the new slate preview format. A little bit of a weird slate just because of the 3 teams I really had to focus on. But let me know if you guys like the new format or not for the previews. That'd be great to know. Again, please subscribe, like, and leave in the comments section the player below 3,500 you think that scores the most fantasy points. As we went through, a lot of candidates, and you'll be entered in a drawing to win a free week of Fantasy Cruncher Pro. With that, I'm CJ. Good luck with all the entries today in the trades. We'll see you next time.